Okie dokie, back with another round of gibberish. For anybody who has tuned in, my name is Mr. McSmileyface. I've just assigned myself that new tag. I'm waiting maybe another 24 to 48 hours and my compadre in Bangladesh is going to go live with the brand new YouTube channel. I have to send him the update. From now henceforth I will be known as Mr. McSmileyface, just to put a bit of a positive spin on whatever it is that you're going through today. What are you suffering from? Are you somebody who can relate to me because of my recovery? Are you somebody who can relate to me because you can see I'm living in the sunshine, and maybe you've thought about what would it be like to go and live in the sunshine? Woo! There's a nice bit of wind on my face. So, as I said to you before, this is a roughly based recovery YouTube channel too. So, let's share a little bit on step 3. And I have to be careful because I don't want to come across sounding how 1,000,001 other people sound like in the rooms. I like to think that I'm open-minded enough that I would dig deep down into the mud to find some of those answers that are buried deep under the surface. There was a woman talking about the wall. What wall, says you? The wall you have to overcome, the boundary that you have to surpass in order to be able to, well, the language that they use in step 3 is surrender. A lot of people have problem with this step because they think that you need to have absolute faith. You need to have blind faith in some kind of God. And depending on where you are, where you're from, your concept of God can cloud over access to the fruits of step 3. Like, for example, for me, I come from Catholic Ireland, and so in my head I'd have this idea of your man with the white beard, and he's wearing a white robe, and he's usually lounging about in the clouds not too far away from the pearly gates, and there's angels hovering around him, you know, the tiny little angels that are naked except for the 2 white wings, and they have golden halos hanging off their heads. That's the image that we have. And then if you were to ask me to think a little bit further about my religion, I wouldn't be too far away from the thought of, you know, a 6-pack, well-chiseled, long-haired man from Jerusalem and a bunch of people whipping him and telling him, come on boy, pick up that crucifix, put your back into it. Right, and maybe there's 12 of his mates is following him around trying to write a book. Jesus, what was it that you said again about surrender? He didn't say fuck all about surrender, did he? Because he wasn't in recovery, was he? If he ever did exist. Now hold on, I'll have to reverse back a little bit because I tend to go off on tangents. So, the wall that you have to overcome, like the Chinese wall, is the idea that you need to believe in a deity, that you need to have blind faith. When in actual fact, all you really need to do is accept that up until this point you have been living a life that has been chaotic, right? We as addicts are used to the chaos, and we labor under the false belief that peace is an unsafe place. Why would I want to get sober? I'm used to the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more. It reminds me a little bit like of an animal, say a wild animal, and you were to cage that wild animal, and you were to take that wild animal and put him in a zoo. And if that wild animal was able to speak a language, I know we're getting into fiction here, but say you were able to talk to that wild animal, and you'd say to the wild animal, here, what's wrong with you? Didn't I put you in a nice place there? You've got nice comfortable bedding. I'm giving you food every day. There's people that'll pet you. What's wrong with you, mate? Why are you roaming backwards and forwards? So bloody listless. Well, the animal would say to you, for feck's sake, I'm used to the jungle. I prefer waking up in the morning not knowing where the hell I'm going to get my food from. That's me, that's my natural habitat. So you stick me in this zoo with all the trappings of a comfortable life, and of course I'm going to be listless. Now, I stopped recording. I don't know how far, where that stopped recording. I was going out at the wild animal snatched from the chaos and put in a zoo. And that's a little bit like an addict. When it comes out of active addiction, it comes into the rooms. So it takes a little bit of time for you to get used to the comforts of your AA or your MBT. And when you start to hear me talk about a step P, surrender, surrender, it's only normal that you be thinking, oh lads, I can't deal with this. Who are these people with a copy of the basic text tucked underneath their forearm as if they're a way off to bash people with a Bible? You treat the basic text the same way you treat a Bible, like a Bible basher. Oh, here now, I'm about to get pulled in. So I leave it with this, right? There's a Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, that says, he who knows does not say, and he who says does not know. In other words, if you hear somebody preaching the correct way to go about the steps and telling you to be honest, open-minded and willing, just remember, he who knows does not say, and he who says does not know. You need to dig a little bit deeper. There's diamonds in the rough. It's just that the answers aren't going to be right there in front of you. So, in the meantime, maybe Mr. McSmiley-Face, yours truly, will be able to point you in the right direction, or if not point you in the right direction, give you a little bit of insight. That nugget of truth came to me via Pierce in Ireland, who sent me a TikTok video of a woman talking about step 3. So there you go. That's where the idea came from. Right, I'll love you and leave you.